Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a wonderful semester and a wonderful morning of Chem 1105 with your host, me, Dr. White. And welcome. As you can see, I'm coming to you from my office in my home in Schaumburg. And I've done this a number of times, so I think I got this down pretty good. All right, let's go over some important things. First of all, please call me Dr. White, not professor. Professor, only full-time faculty. Adjuncts, which most of the COD is, don't get that title. But I do have a PhD in synthetic organic chemistry. By the way, synthetic is a fancy word meaning to make. And most of my adult life, or a good part of it, I worked in the chemical industry, most of it as a senior research and development manager at a number of international chemical companies. And then when the chemical industry died in Chicago a number of years ago, I started teaching and I also consult. And I've taught 1105 a number of times here at COD. I also teach at Elgin Community College, ECC, which I'll do this afternoon, organic chemistry. At COD, I've taught 1105, 1211, and 1212. So I think I know pretty much most of the chemistry taught here, actually all of it. All right, couple of things. First of all, this semester, you're going to learn a lot of personal stuff about me. And the first thing is my hearing is not too good. If I were in class face-to-face, you'd see I'd be wearing my hearing aids, but because I have two large up here amplified speakers, I don't. But still, once in a while, if you talk softly, or if you talk with an accent, or if you talk softly and with an accent, even with my speakers cranked up, I'll have a hard time hearing you or understanding you. So please be patient. If I ask to repeat something once or twice when you ask a question, it's because of my problem, not yours. All right, next thing, probably the most important thing you'll learn today from me is in my class, in my world, there's no such thing as a dumb question. I'll say it again. In my class, in my world, anywhere around me, anytime you see me, there's no such thing as a dumb question. I learned that I think it was my third year in grad school at Michigan State. By the way, I have a BS, bachelor's degree in chemistry from Illinois Institute of Technology. My PhD is from Michigan State, go green. Anyways, in East Lansing. And I was in a research group, Dr. Rusha's research group as a grad student. We had a postdoctoral fellow, Dr. Plavin, who was in our group. And postdoctoral fellow, someone who goes to another research group, doesn't have a full-time job yet, but gets paid to do research and be part of that research group. And Dr. Plavin, I've been a postdoctoral fellow at UICC, but anyways, I was giving a talk about my research and he asked me a question. And the question was something students who had taken undergrad organic should know. And here's a PhD organic chemist. So I answered it. And afterward, I went up to him and said, Larry, weren't you embarrassed asking that question that we teach undergrad students? He said, why should I be embarrassed? I didn't know the answer. Now I do. And that's when I started learning, getting in my brain, there's no such thing as a dumb question. Always, always feel free to ask questions in my class, whether here in lecture, after lab, during lab, or in my office hours, which of the semester will be on Zoom. All right. One of the things I've learned in life is I don't walk on water unless it's frozen, and even then I stay off it. If I make a mistake, correct me. If I say 2 + 2 is 7, all of you say, no, you made a mistake. Just because I have a PhD, I'm the teacher, doesn't mean I can't make a mistake. I try not to, but if you think something's wrong, I said, let me know. I'll appreciate if you help correct a mistake I made. All right. couple of things. How many of you, and let me go to gallery view, are familiar with Blackboard? Give me a thumbs up or use the emoji. I think some of you are. Blackboard is the educational system called LIMS, Learning Management System, that COD uses. That's pretty good. And let's go to Blackboard. Oh, one thing I will ask, for those of you who have your screen on, your webcam on, and for those of you who know how to use the emoji, we've been using Zoom now almost a year and 3/4 since the pandemic struck. And one of the faults of Zoom is it tells me I'm sharing a certain screen and you're not seeing it. So the way I've gotten around that is I'll ask thumbs up people, do you see this? And give me a thumbs up emoji or on your camera. All right, let's go to thumbs up people. Do you see Blackboard on their announcements? Thank you. All right, this is Blackboard. Once you log in and get to Chem 1105, my section, you'll see on the left important things. And one of them is, if you click on 1105 Zoom meeting information, and since all of you logged in, you also saw it in the syllabus or here, here's the link in case you ever forget it for our lecture. And then tonight and Wednesdays, the Zoom meeting link for my office hour is different. And it's this one right here. Now, I'll have announcements which will go out to you. And this one I hope you all saw. I would ask you, please, on a daily basis, you should check your student email for COD. One of the things I learned about teaching online is try and communicate as much as possible to students to help you out. And I do that by email besides the lecture. Now over here, we have syllabus. And if I click on that, you'll notice I have student syllabus, course syllabus, both as a PDF file and also as a, I don't know who did a mark on my screen, please don't. But anyways, as a PDF file and also as a Word file. I also have, and I'll talk about it, also the signature sheet. What I do is I always put both a PDF and a Word file, because in case you can't open the Word file, you can always open up a PDF file. Now I have other important things here, assignments, and I'll talk about that during the semester. This is where you see you'll have your labs and your tests. And also I have a copy of the signature sheet. And then I'll have course information. For you, you'll see your grades, my instructor. I have my YouTube channel. I'll talk about that a little. If you haven't figured it out, I'm a little older than most of you. Is that an understatement? You can't see it, but that's my undergrad ring. And it says 1972. Yep, that's when I got my bachelor's, my PhD in 77. So once in a while, I'll do a generation gap thing. But one of the things I found out is a lot of you don't know about good music, good books, and good movies. And an example of good music, one of the greatest joys of my life was when I was in high school. I saw Jimi Hendrix live here in Chicago. It was probably the greatest concert I ever saw. If you don't know who Jimi Hendrix is, look on YouTube. One of the greatest rock guitarists ever, period. I saw him live right after his first album. Yes, I'm a hard rock person. Anyways, there's a lot of good stuff in there for you to look at. And you can, if we go to the course information, you'll notice there are 3 folders: lectures, recommended problem sets, and recommended problem set answers. And in the lectures folder, every lecture I have, this, whatever I put on the screen in terms of lectures, there's a folder in there, a file in here. Let me open it up. And you see chapter 1, I have both as a Word and PDF, chapter 1, my slides. And for all the lectures, I have that. And later on, I'll also show you, I have important information for each test and reviews, which I'll go over, excuse me. All right, what I'd like to go through now is just briefly go through the syllabus. All right, everybody see the syllabus on their screen? Thumbs up, people. Thank you. All right, now, first of all, let me remind you, this syllabus is in Blackboard and you can download it or look at it anytime you want. Here's my office phone. Don't call that because I haven't checked it in I don't know how many years. Here's my email address. I check it twice a day. That's including Saturday and Sunday. Now, when I say twice a day, that means I get up early. I start my day early. This morning, I checked it about 6:30. I'll check it again later this afternoon or tonight, sometimes even more frequent. All right, important things you should know. On Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we have lectures on Zoom at 10 a.m. till 10:50. On Tuesday, tomorrow, we're starting earlier. Again, tomorrow we start at 9 a.m. and go to 11:50. Usually we don't go all the way to the end there. But anyways, that will be tomorrow. So make sure you log in tomorrow for our lab, and I call it recitation too. If you've ever been to a big school, they have lectures and recitation. And also it's called discussion. But anyways, we'll start tomorrow at 9. I have again the Zoom meeting and the office meeting links. Now, important thing, how do you reach me if you want to get questions to me or have to contact me? Don't use the phone number there. That's just a voicemail box. I don't remember the password. I don't remember what year I last checked it, but email is the best way. whitek@cod.edu. It's in my syllabus. I check it twice daily. And generally within 24 hours or less, I will respond to your email. Now, why does it take that long sometimes? I have 4 email accounts. Yes, 4. One for COD, one for ECC, Elgin Community College, my personal one, and my business one. And I get anywhere from, on a slow day, 15 emails, and I'm not talking about spam, that the filters catch, but real emails, 15 to about 40 a day. So once in a while, I may miss you initially, but I'll get back to you. If I ever don't, and don't respond within 24 hours, on a rare case, I've missed someone, come back to me with another email and say, how come you didn't check my email? Oh, one other thing I should warn you, I have a sense of humor and I use it. Sometimes I have good humor days. Sometimes, well, we both have to suffer through my humor, but mostly it's good. Let's continue with the syllabus. I've got course description. The course method you can read on your own. We're required, we being all faculty, to do this. Same thing with the active course file. All right, course material. The textbook I have made optional. You don't have to buy it. Honestly, don't. I provide my lectures. I also provide practice problems. And I also provide, and it's in Blackboard, you saw the folder, practice problem answers. I've found most chemistry books, especially the one we're using, don't do a good job of providing problems for you to practice the material so you'll do good on the test. And I have found for many years now, students who take my courses, whether it's this one, 1211 or 1212, they don't need the book. In fact, a number of years ago, I asked in one of my courses when we were face to face, how many of you are reading the book? This is about 2/3 into the semester. Nobody raised their hand. At that point, I was a little, that's not a good sign, until I looked at the test scores and the students were doing quite well. I said, well, I don't get any money back from the publisher for selling their books. If my students are doing good on my test, they're learning. So don't buy the book. If you want to go ahead, my lectures are somewhat follow the material in the book, plus I add more to help you learn more. All right, lab material. You do not have to use a lab, buy a lab manual, but this semester, like I did this summer, and we also did last spring in 1211, we're using the product Beyond Lab Z laboratory, online laboratory. It's not really a simulation. They like calling it labs. In fact, I was just in a meeting last week with the CEO of this company because I want to help them make it even better. Now, Beyond Lab Z is a really good product. Students last semester and the semester before really like it, and I do too. Here's the link where you can buy it from the bookstore. About 5 or 6 years ago, maybe a little longer, give or take a year, everybody, all the faculty at COD got an email from the legal counsel of COD, the lawyer. And they told us the school has a contract with Fowlets, who runs the COD bookstore, and we are not allowed to tell students where else to buy course material. And I won't, because in the email they said, the faculty member who does that can get sued and the school can get sued. And trust me, I don't need to be sued. So I can't tell you where to buy it, but you can't get it from the bookstore. And their price is pretty decent. I think it's about $30, which saves you a lot of money because you're not paying the lab fee and you're not paying about $50, $60 for a lab book. Such a deal. But Beyond Lab Z is a good product. If you haven't gotten it yet, buy it. You'll get a login code, and I'll show you next Tuesday how to use Beyond Lab Z. I have required here, you should have a webcam. All right, let's talk about attendance. But before we talk about that, I should tell you something personal about me. I'm a very selfish person. I'm selfish in one way. I like to have things happen around me and in my life that make me happy. That way I'm very selfish. And one of the things that makes me very happy is seeing the students succeed. I'm not one of those instructors who say, look how hard my class is. Look at all the people who got D's and F's. When I hear that, I think, that teacher doesn't know how to teach. I like to see students succeed. I will do anything I can to help you succeed if you put in the time and learn the material. Last semester, I think 70% of the students earned. The important word is earned A's. And yes, I did get a couple of B's, C's, and D's, and even 2 F's. There's only so much I can do. You have to do the work yourself. But I will teach you and give you the skills and help you any way I can to succeed and get a good grade, because that makes me happy. One of the ways that makes me happy or helps you get a good grade, so I'm happy, is come to lecture and practice. And I'll talk more about the practice problems. Now, one of the things I will be doing that I started when we first started using Zoom, I should tell you, I am a computer power user. When I worked at CHEMI America, a chemical company, I was the first one outside of accounting to get a PC. That was a long time ago. And I've been a power user ever. If you notice right there, there are 3 external hard drives there. for I have 3 computers, power computers in my office. But what that means is I post on Zoom my lectures. By tomorrow morning, this lecture will be on Zoom, and you'll be on Zoom, on YouTube, and the YouTube, if you look right here, here's the link under Dr. Weiss. And I have, anyways, you'd see the link here. I have it in my setup for changing things like this, but the link is there. Let me go to student view, hold on. And here's the link to my YouTube channel. And if you go there right now, you'll see Summer's YouTube lectures. If you want to go back and look and see what I've done. And also in 2019, I actually videotaped all my face-to-face lectures for 1105. So you can always go back and look at this. All right, and what that means is if a student misses more than 6 lectures in Zoom, I can take attendance right now. At the end, I'll be able to do it without asking you anything. I reserve the right to assign a student an F at grade time. I like students to succeed, show up to class, and laugh. I'll let you learn about the student behavior and academic policy, but essentially, if somebody disrupts my class, your behavior is unacceptable, I'll let you know an email, and I'll talk to you face-to-face alone on Zoom. And if you don't correct that unacceptable behavior, won't withdraw you from the class, but I will give you an F at the end of the semester and not let you come to Zoom. And if it's totally unacceptable, I'll do this immediately. And when I do this, I will send an email to the Dean of Students and my Dean. I've only had to do this once at COD. I had a student who had serious emotional problems, and I'm a chemist, not a psychologist. I tried to help, but only so much one can do. All right, cheating. I'm a pretty laid back guy. There's 2 things that get me mad. You don't want me mad. I don't want to be mad. One is people who lie and people who cheat. Cheating, I think of a subset of lying. You say you know the material and you don't. Please don't cheat. I will, if you cheat, it's in my syllabus, that test I catch you cheating, you'll get a 0, and that can't be a drop score. And I'll talk about that in a little while. So don't. I put things in my online test that I can catch students cheating. It's not that hard if you've been teaching as long as I have. Please don't. All right, try and be prepared, do the practice problems. I'll talk more about that in red. Now, listen carefully. If you are a special needs student, do not say anything now. Do not send a chat message. What you should do is contact me in private. You should have gotten an email with a letter from the Center of Access and Accommodations. Send me that. For many years now, like from the first day I started working at COD, I totally support the Center for Access and Accommodations, and I totally support special needs students. If you have any special needs or need special help, let me know. I will do that. And we're now asked to put this paragraph about how you can contact the Office of Accommodations and Accessibility and Accommodations. All right, now let's get to the important stuff for you. And before I go on, yes, I was a student a long time ago, probably in a galaxy far, far away. But I still remember about being a student. So what's important to you? How do I get a good grade in this class? All right, if you notice on the screen, there's going to be 4 one-hour tests. Here are the tentative dates. Why did I say tentative? Well, sometimes if a class I feel needs a little extra time, I'll change it by a day or two. But usually I know how to keep on schedule, and we keep to that schedule. Those are all on Friday, and that will be during lecture. I will give that to you. There'll be a final exam. It'll be comprehensive, but relax. Students do good on my final exam. I'll talk more about that during the semester. It will be on 12/13. That's a Monday, I believe. Yep, Monday at 10 a.m. That's in the COD final exam week. During the semester, I'll do 1 extra credit. Plus, on some of the tests, I put extra credit in the final 2. Makeup policy for hourly exams, unless there's some extreme emergency. And unfortunately, with the pandemic, that does happen. You must have some sort of documentation to prove that. All right. Now, how do you get a grade in this class? Well, first of all, there are going to be 4 hourly exams. I take the 3 highest and add them together to get a points. And that counts 57% of your grade. The final exam is 19%. Then you'll be doing labs that you hand in and get points, and that will be 24%. Let me blow this up so you don't get eye strain. And you will have a percentage. The percentage is the sum of your 3 highest test scores of your hourly exams, your final exam, your lab total, and the extra credit project, which is optional. That's usually 10 points. Multiply that by 100, divide by 530, and you get a percentage. And if you get 90 and above percentage, you get an A, 80, 89B, 79C, 60, 69D, below 60, F. And that hopefully none of you are in the bottom 2 or even the bottom 3. I'd like to see everybody get A's or earn them, really. All right, and I'll put your scores in Blackboard, and you'll also get it from the school system. By the way, if you plan to withdraw, you have to do that through the registrar's office. I have no say in it. And also with my dean, if it's past the last date, here's the last date to withdraw. Please note, not attending class or completing exams does not officially constitute withdrawing from this class. I'll give you a grade. That happened once years ago, and that's why I put it in. But usually, I rarely have students drop my class. The only reason I've had it is a couple times students have been moving out of the area when we were face-to-face, and on 2 occasions, students got pregnant and they dropped, and I could understand that. And incomplete, if you have an extreme emergency that's documented, I do issue incompletes. Now, if you look on the screen here, you'll see course outline, and I stick to this. This week, we'll go through chapter 1, start appendix A2 and A4. Next week, as so on. On Monday will be Labor Day, September 6th. We won't have a class. And notice I have different things when we have tests. And what I think I'm missing here, and I have to go back and add, is there's that's in a lab on a Tuesday. We'll be missing a lab because of in-service day. COD doesn't have any classes that day. Also, we'll be missing lectures on Wednesday and Friday because of Thanksgiving. All right, here's the lab syllabus. I'm going to talk about this tomorrow. Oops, there's one more thing I want to get to. At the very end, I have what's called the student agreement. And here it is. This is your copy, but you can either look at the assignment area or go to the syllabus folder. And here it is on your screen. Thumbs up, people. Do you see the I print your name on there? Thank you. All right. This is this agreement that you need to print and then sign and date and upload it in the assignment area before test number 1. If I don't have this, you'll get a 0 for test number 1 and 2, 3, and 4. It's in my syllabus. And essentially, it says 1, you've read my syllabus and understand if you don't follow the policies, I'll do, meaning me, Dr. White, what's in my syllabus. And the other one, because of FERPA law, I forgot what the acronym is, a federal law protecting students' rights, that you really waive your FERPA law rights to have your image, voice, or name in my videos that go on YouTube. No, I'm not a YouTube star. Millions of people don't watch it, but I need to do that so I can post the videos in YouTube. And that's the syllabus. Sorry about that, but I need to go through that. It's not the most exciting thing in life, but time out for a tea break. For those who came in late, I'm a tea drinker. This is my second mug. First one is always vanilla almond. This one's blueberry, wild blueberry. If you don't know about the Republic of Tea, email me. I'll tell you about it or talk to me. All right, any questions? I'm going to look down at the chat. All right, no questions. Let me ask a question. How many of you read about me in ratemyprofessor.com? Give me a thumbs up. Well, you're going to find out if they're lying or not to you this semester. They're not. All right. Now, while I have you all on the screen, give me a thumbs up if you're taking this class because you have an undying love of chemistry. No one. How many of you are planning on being a chemist? Give me a thumbs up. Oh, it's just me. Guess what? I already knew that. You're not here because you're planning to be a chemist like I became, but you're here because you have to take chemistry and someone said you had to take a chemistry course and you want to get a good grade. Now you know, I know that you're not wanting to be a chemist, and I'm not going to try and convince you to be a chemist, but I'm going to teach you about chemistry. And chemistry is an exciting area. Let's think about why learn chemistry. Quick question. Thank you. Well, one thing I forgot to mention in the syllabus is you'll need a calculator. The Texas TI-30XIIS solar. They're about $15 or less anywhere. Walmart, Target, Staples, Office Max, I'll sell these. And you should get one. Next week, I'll teach you how to use a scientific calculator if you're not sure. All right, why learn chemistry? Good question. Well, let's think about it. Everybody, touch your skin. Go ahead. I hope it doesn't hurt. Go ahead, do it. Your skin is made of molecules. I'll teach you what molecules is, which are made up of atoms. That's chemistry. How many of you have been outside and felt the wind on your face or on in your what's left of my hair or other, on your hands or whatever, and you feel the wind? Guess what? That's chemistry. That's molecules of nitrogen and oxygen hitting you very hard. Didn't think about that. Next time you breathe, hopefully you're all breathing, you're doing chemistry because you're inhaling the air, which is made up of molecules of nitrogen and oxygen, and the oxygen's keeping you alive. By the way, I should warn you, the last time I took biology was freshman year of high school. Not that there's anything wrong with biology, but by then I already knew I wanted to be a chemist. Yep, by then. All right, so what else is chemistry? Water bottle. The plastic is chemistry. Oh, look, the water inside, that's chemistry. But you never thought of water is a chemical. It is. And if you look at my shirt, the material it's made of and the dye that makes it red, that's chemistry. And let's get real personal. How about your food? All the major food groups, carbohydrates, fats and oils, proteins, those are all chemicals. So let's see, our food is chemicals, chemistry, our air and everything we're breathing is chemistry. My skin is, yours is, even my beard, that's chemistry made. So isn't it obvious why it's important to take chemistry? Of course it is, because someone told you have to take this class and that's why it's important and you want to get a good grade. And I know that, now you know I know that. All right, couple other things. Let's talk about my test and final. Relax. All my tests are final are designed that if you've done the practice problems and studied, if you're given an hour, most students finish in about 35, 40 minutes. I don't write tests where only the best student barely has time to finish. That's not fair. And I teach by my golden rule of teaching. What's that? My golden rule of teaching is I don't do unto my students what I didn't like done to me. In other words, if I didn't like it when I was a student, I'm sure not going to do it to you. And one of the things that I'm looking at the clock, that means is I hated when I was a student when a class ended and the instructor kept on lecturing like the Energizer Bunny, kept on going and going. Come on, the class is over. I want to leave. And so I always end on time, but I do go to the end. And let me remind you again, it's still true. In my class, there's no such thing as a dumb question. Now, one of the hallmarks of how I teach is I never assume that a student should fill in a blank for material they need to learn in my class. Why? Because any question on my test or final, anything you need to learn, I'll go over the concept behind that question at least twice, 3 times, at least twice, usually a lot more. And that way you'll do good on my test and you'll be happy. And that makes me happy. One of my fervent dreams was to have a class that earned all A's. And on 2 occasions, I've had classes where I've had 24 students, I've had 22 A's and 2 B's or 1 B. I'm thinking, oh, if those people had gotten an A, until I realized those 2 people I helped out. If I hadn't helped them out and helped them learn better, how to learn better, they wouldn't have even passed the class. So for them, a B was a very good grade. I think Friday after class, for those of you who want to stick around, tea break, I will teach a method how to eliminate test anxiety. If you're one of those people who got real nervous during a test and just lose it all or have trouble taking a test because you get nervous, years ago, I came up with a method that students can use that eliminates test anxiety like that, and it works real good. Students are getting F's, D's, and barely C's. Once they got rid of that test anxiety using my method, they started getting high A's or A's. It was amazing to see. It doesn't take long. Friday after lecture, take about 10, 15 minutes, and I'll teach you that method. And it's free of charge. No, it's not free because you have to pay to be in my class, but I won't charge extra. All right, let's talk about how can you do good in my class. And in order for me to teach you that, I have to talk about bicycles. Bicycles? Yeah, bicycles. Let's assume you don't know how to ride a bicycle. And being the nice person I am, I give you the best Blu-ray ever made on how to ride a bicycle. And you have a nice Blu-ray player and a huge 65-inch OLED or whatever super nice TV. And for the next month, you watch that Blu-ray and you watch it and you do slow motion frame by frame and over again until you know every second of that Blu-ray how to ride a bicycle by heart. What happens the first time you get on a bicycle? You're going to fall off. But with time and practice, you get good at it. Well, chemistry is no different. Watching me doing stuff and problems, oh, it doesn't look that hard till you try it on your own. And the question is, do you want to fall off on the test or doing the practice problems? Hopefully all said practice problems. And we'll go through that. That's why I wrote and provided my own practice problems, because after test number 1, hint, you'll understand why I call them practice problems. They'll help you. And that reminds me, most of you, how many of you remember seeing Michael Jordan play when he was at his best? Generation gap. Anyways, for those of you who don't know who Michael Jordan was, he's probably the greatest of all basketball players, especially for the Chicago Bulls, not for all the NBA. When Michael Jordan was the best of the best of the best, the best player in the whole NBA, you'd see on TV here in Chicagoland. I've spent most of my life living here in Chicagoland, even though I did spend time a lot in Europe working for international chemical companies. I'd go there 4 weeks at a time, 2 or 3 times a year. But anyways, you'd see in the news or on the TV in sports, Michael Jordan, always the first on the practice court, always the last off. Why was Michael Jordan practicing so hard when he was the best of the best of the best? Because that kept him the best. And chemistry is no different. All right. Any questions about anything I have? All right, let's start. Well, okay. Alyssa, are you talking about like test scores and things like that? All right, that's not me. Generally, when I give a test on a Friday, like test number 1, I will guarantee by Sunday, 1 p.m. at the latest, the test score will be in Blackboard for you to see. Also, and by the way, thank you for your question. All questions are good questions. Also, I have found, how can I hand back a test online? Well, what I found I could do is I send out individual emails, and for each answer you put down, I will send you in the email how many points you got for that. Say question 1A was 3 points. If you got it right, you'll see on the email 1A 3. If you didn't, you got 0 if you got it wrong. That way you can also, every test I give, the Monday after the test in lecture here, I will go over all the answers. So you know how to do it if in case you got it wrong. And that helps you learn the material too. One thing I will mention, I do highlight that special effects, cut it out of the video that I post on YouTube. But if anybody misses that lecture, you can always come to my office hours or see me after class to see any answers. Does that help? I mean, faculty don't post it until the very end. That's disgusting. That's my personal opinion. That's not right. A quick generation gap thing. When I went to undergrad, after you had your finals, not all instructors put their final grades outside their office with your ID number. You'd have to wait about 2 weeks for your grades to be mailed to you. That was the most awful 2 weeks of your life every semester. You check the mail, did I get my grades? Awful. All right, other questions? Wow, time flies when you're having fun with the syllabus, not. I forgot one thing. All right, one of the things I learned last semester, which is sort of sad in a way for me personally is a lot of you never were taught cursive, how to read cursive handwriting. If you can't read cursive, or let me do it the other way. If you can read cursive, give me a thumbs up right now. Oh, I see some. I'll tell you what, either send me an email, whitek@cod.edu, if you cannot read cursive, and I'll print. If I don't get any, I'll write and print. I do both, but printing is quicker. All right, let's get started, at least a couple seconds into chemistry. Does everybody see chapter 1 on your screen now? Thumbs up, people. Thank you. All right, what's chemistry? Well, and I will not ask this on a test, a question. And by the way, I will tell you what's important during my lectures you should know. But anyways, what is chemistry? Well, chemistry is the study of the composition, the structure, properties, and reactions of matter. Chemistry is a science that tries to understand how matter behaves by studying what we call atoms and molecules. By the way, Dr. White loves to play with atoms and molecules. I have 10 US patents to show I know how to do that. Now, there are 4 main branches of chemistry. The first one is organic, the best, because I'm an organic chemist. The next one is inorganic. And then there's physical chemistry and analytical chemistry. Now, sometimes on my slide, or sometimes I'm going to do it right now, I'll give you a little hint. And you should know at least 1 to 4 branches of chemistry. See how subtle I can be? You should know this. And organic, I'll talk about. Organic deals with things, molecules originally that once were alive, plants and animals. Now it's beyond that, molecules from with carbon and hydrogen. Inorganic molecules were things that weren't alive. Now, physical chemistry, how to measure, dealing with the physical properties of chemicals and how atoms are made up. And finally, analytical chemistry, how to measure things. So you should know at least 1 of the 4 branches of chemistry. Hint, organic chemistry is the best, but I'm an organic chemist, so I'm biased. And how many of you have seen the CSI programs on TV? The chemists there are all analytical chemists because they measure things. Now, in this class, I'll talk about chemicals and the switches off. And well, one of the things I should talk about, every once in a while, you hear me say, click, the switch is off. This won't be on a test. It's something I'd like you to know about, but I won't ask test questions because the last time I checked, none of you can read my mind. So how do you know what's important on a test? I'll tell you. Also, I couldn't read my instructors' minds, and that's why I do what I'm doing. Oh my goodness, I'm out of time. Quick thing. I'm Jewish, and my grandparents all came from Russia. And for Eastern Europe and Germany, Jewish people spoke a language, still do, called Yiddish. And my grandmother, one of the greatest women I've ever known in my life, whenever I go leave after visiting, and also my sisters and my parents, she'd say, "Gehen gesund." And since the pandemic started, I always end my lecture, "Gehen gesund." That's Yiddish for go in health, be healthy. And with the pandemic, make sure you wear your mask. If you haven't gotten a vaccine, I got mine, second one in April. I finished up, you should. With that, I'm done. I'm going to say goodbye. That comes from Beverly Hillbillies. Gehen gesund. I'll see you tomorrow. Remember, 9 a.m. start time. If you have any questions, I'll stick around for a couple of minutes. If not, you can run away or walk. You're welcome.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Appreciate it.
Bye, everybody.